Hello everyone, this is Nithyapriya. Even today we are going to see about the importance of operating systems. The importance of operating system, when we say that, we can say many benefits that OS renders to the users of the computer and to the computer programs also. So that is what we actually going to see in this presentation, and these are the contents of a presentation. How OS renders its services to program execution, how it supports IO operation, how it supports the file system manipulation, how it enables the communication between processes, how it handles errors, and what about the resource management of OS, and what about the protection it renders to the systems and the system resources. These are the contents. We start with the services of OS. Actually, we can say OS provides programs and environment to execute, and it provides services to users to execute the programs. So these are the two main services of OS. And these are the common services, and we see each and every service in detail in the upcoming slides. The services are program execution, IO operation, file system manipulation, error detection, communication, resource allocation, protection, etc. Now the first one is program execution. Actually, to execute a program, OS manages both the programs like system program as well the application programs. It handles the system programs like spooler, file server, name server, and all those things. And when we talk about the application programs, it does the program execution by means of the following things. First one is it loads a program into memory in order to execute them. Then it provides mechanisms for process synchronization, process communication, and deadlock. Process synchronization is when more than when more than one processes are being executed in a single computer at the same time. The operating system just makes a compliance with all the processes, okay, so that each and every process will go hand in hand. So this is called process synchronization. And next one is process communication. When more than one processes are being handled at the same time, it just provides a communication among the processes. And the next one is deadlock handling. Deadlock, we know, in usually this happens in multitasking or multi-programming environment. Deadlock actually means when a particular process requires a resource, and when another process requires the same resource at the same time, there a deadlock happens. So operating system just enters into this environment and will handle this deadlock sorted out. And this is IO operation. For seeing about IO operation, we have to see IO subsystem first. IO subsystem is a group of IO devices and their corresponding device software. A device software means, for example, if you want to put a pen drive in a system, there should be a driver software to handle this pen drive, right? So that is called as device software. So the IO device and the device software are combinedly known as IO subsystem. This OS manages a communication between the user and the device drivers. Okay, so IO operation means read or write operation on any file or on any specific IO device. That is, when we try to read a file or write a file in a particular computer, or if you want to read or write on an external IO device or a system residing IO device, the whole things are known as IO operations. Then operating system provides the access to the required IO device when required. The next one is file system manipulation. You know what a file is? A file is a collection of related information. So to manipulate the file system for rendering its service to file system manipulation, operating system It does the following things. First, it gives permission to the program for operating on a file. The next one, it provides an interface to the user to create or delete files. Then it provides an interface to the user to create or delete directories. We know what directory is. Directory is nothing but a group of files. For if the related files we put inside a directory and we name after the file correspondingly, right? So that is called a directory is. Then it provides an interface to create a backup of file system. And this is communication. Communication is a communication between two processes inside a computer. That is what communication is. That is, operating system does the following things. When the two processes need data to be transferred between them, OS enables that. Probably the processes, perhaps they are in one computer or they may be in different computers, but still they are connected through a computer network. In both the cases, OS takes steps for this process communication. Then communication of this OS is implemented by two things. One is by sharing memory or by message passing. Then error handling. See, error can happen, error can occur in a computer system anywhere, anytime. I'll say an example for error. For example, when you try to shut down a system without closing a file, just say one file is in use. It is supposed to shut down. Really, do you want to do the same? It will ask like, okay. So that is an error handling mechanism. In other words, many a times we encounter the problem in a Android mobile phones. When we try to save a file in a storage, it will say insufficient memory. Or if we want to install an app in a mobile phone, it will say insufficient memory. So this is called an error handling. So we can make some arrangements, we'll delete some files and we put the data in. So this is how OS performs error handling. Like it is doing constant checks for possible errors and it takes appropriate action to ensure the consistent and correct error manipulation. Then this is resource management. Resources are actually processes, main memory or any devices. So these are called as resources. Resource management is particularly needed for multi-user or multitasking environment. And these are the major activities that an OS does to manage the resources. First is it manages the resources using schedulers, and it also uses CPU scheduling algorithms for the better use of CPU. Then at last we see protection. Protection is just protecting the resources of computer. How OS does that? We see that OS does the following things to ensure protection of a system and the system resources. It ensures the access to system resources controlled. Yes, any unauthorized access will be prohibited by OS, right? Then it ensures external IO devices are protected from invalid access attempts, right? So anything, any computer resource cannot be accessed by any user, right? The user should be an authorized person to use the computer device, IO device. So that is how it is protected by OS. The next one is authentication by means of password. So any protected file should be accessed by a particular user with the help of the password only. Then only it can be accessed. So that's the way it provides, OS provides services to the computer system and the users of the computer. That is all about this presentation. You can also refer the following sites for better understanding, and thanks for watching.